I sometimes marvel at the evil ingenuity of the Hollywood talking box that we get with the Green Party's TikTok prerogative and so forth. They put up someone who really knew the heart and consciousness of Pittsburgh's East End, put up an image of a furious, murderous boy who was in the Gaza Strip, who clarified that the aesthetics of the terrorism I suffered as a child were very real. Of course, I appreciated the help. But in terms of typecasting, not in terms of political loyalties, because it doesn't congrue. The people who had tortured me and attacked me were with the Israeli Zionist community and still are. Very violent people. I got a call at my mother's house after we moved to get away from that scene. You know, the darlings of the script were waiting with tapes from the 70s they made for Yoko Ono with the help of Bell Labs. So the Trump could say Crary's not 100% honest, he's not the spirit of Lenin, and so on. He's not the electric fabric we're looking for in world rule or whatever the hell the monger. And the phone rings and it was what we call the phony phone call. That's what Wadmaker called. And she said, "A girl take off your pants for you. You wouldn't know what to do. You go running home for your rich mama's shirt tail." Gives you an idea of what sort of idiosyncratic linguistic anthropology goes into the poetry of the George Romero circle around there. The Eastwood talking box. It shows you what a pressure lobby it was shaking me down to get my pants off, these girls. No, it's a fact that they'll never admit. Even the bosomest women used to come over to our Christmas party would persecute me with themselves. Needless feminine contact. But the dogma is that if a woman from the Neva Corporation is given lines to repeat on record, feminists click their heels and say, "Yes, master, mistress, the madam." That's what happened. And they never even came up with anything suitable to justify it in terms of lies. They just had ha 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 laughing machines from Martin Andam and Company. And they want to call it a scam and get me bargaining with their, "Okay, we'll call it a scam and you leave me alone." South Spoke is reported, of course. I know that. Stockwell lookalike circled me around here just a few days ago, in fact. He's been on my case since '87 at least. So I had a point I was struggling to figure out how to present was has to do with the world audience factor. You know, torn between rights and the world audience factor. First, number one, the claim that I am not entitled to income should be made of every single person who makes the claim that I should not be entitled to income in return. All of them are entitled to income. They see me as a special USA white liberal who's been rubber stamped on the forehead by the blacks who approved of the script. And I'm interfering by asserting my agency as a human being. I'm supposed to be a golem whose mind has been shuttered and stamped out by violent terror into obedience, neuro-obedience. That's how sick the Netanyahu police state is. Neuro-obedience against an American symbol. And they get the gargoyles from the Red Scare, like Oliver North and his gang, to call me up for Eastwood. We'll break your neck, queerball. We know where your family live. And this tune, I guess, at work in our culture. But James McRowley Crowe of the United States of America is just a person, a deaf person. I'm 63 years old. I didn't do or deserve any of this. They just used me. They constructed a persona. That's what they said in their own cold-blooded words. They constructed a persona. And they've been getting away with it. All the way up to the governor's mansion. They've been getting away with doing this to somebody, torturing somebody, giving them Parkinson's, deafening them, using a nerve agent on them, scaring the life out of them with threats to the family, murdering bystanders, demanding a penny from them. Because the United States of America shouldn't be allowed to profit. They say I symbolize the Watton answer to World War II. That was way before my time. I doubt I would have made the decision to drop it, but what's that got to do with me? The Crowhag Reguster says so. She tapped that symbol with her hot wire machine to show what they really are, man. And the fundamentalist tripartite said, thou shalt not sin. Look, if you want to issue me a pussy ball waiver, you should sign the confession that you pulled this pussy ball game. If you want to pass a law that you cannot procreate without making a child, without intent to make a child, you cannot procreate with anybody who's married, you cannot marry anybody who isn't a virgin, we're going to clean house. Propose it. Propose it, Brooks. Don't beat up children and stick their fingers in electric sockets and all the other creepy stuff that Pittsburgh does to people. Now, Pittsburgh said this was all justified because Query was a sissy. They attacked me blindside. I've expressed this thousands of times. It was like being shot. I'd never seen the person before. This is how they treat a sissy. I weighed 98 pounds and was going deaf. And this comes from the mania of Patricia Fripp for John Lennon somehow. It does not make any sense. John Lennon is on the side of the fundamentalist tripartite abolishing sex by war. Oh, thanks for telling me. So it's recreational sadism, and it's a highly peculiar mentality. Now, what's being implied is that there's money in it for somebody. Well, if I earned any money, you can give me it. You're psychopaths about Robert Fripp's card, you can give me it. I'll try to keep it out of your hands as best I can. If you don't want to give it to me, don't give it to me. What the hell, don't. And you want me to throw in my lot with international solidarity. Okay, here's the problem with that. Is I've done a lot of work. If you look over on my bookshelf over here where my books, based on what I know, I'm giving testimony. Okay. And throughout that testimony, my attempts, my offers to get involved with international solidarity were hotwired by people who wanted to make pornographic films of me in a genocide program. So I followed that and documented it, and that's what my work is here. And all of these people trying to draft me are too implicated for me to join them now. I can't do it. We know the limitations of the International Court of Justice. Okay, that's fine. I can't stop any of these people from approaching me. I can't get away from them. I have Parkinson's. I can barely walk to the grocery store anymore. It's slow going, limping to the grocery store back and forth. I don't want them to bother me. I want a house of my own where I can do my work. If I make a donation to something, it would be on my own jurisdiction because I feel prompted. If it was up to me, I would hang out with Greta Thunberg because I like her mind. I like the things that she thinks about. But it's not up to me. So when you say, why aren't you volunteering? Why do you want to rescue Gaza orphans? Well, of course, I am deeply concerned about Gaza's orphans. Don't make any ifs, ands, or buts, or bones about that. But calling me on the phone saying, if Gaza orphans came to you crying for Robert Frith postcard and somebody was going to auction, you'd go running home to rich mama's coattail. What rich mama are you talking about? I live in Section 8. I'm deaf. All of you have tons of money. These people have tons of money. They drive around in big cars. They have children. They have banquets for dinner. They have $140,000 tax free annually. What's that got to do with me? I don't have anything remotely like that. I've never lived above the poverty line. So what are you going to do? Dump a huge bundle of dough on me? I know what that'll lead to. I'm 63 years old and I have Parkinson's. I have to find somebody to help me pack my clothes and my books. I have to abandon ship, find somebody to clean up this moldy residue place after I leave. Try to get a house where I can have privacy and a nurse. And they say, oh, well, we have to get into that house and hotwire it so he don't get peeped because he's a sacred item of Peep Show for the Beatles. And that's where it would be. That's the way I can't even scratch my ear without somebody going, ooh. What makes you think anything would change? Nothing would change. They've done this to somebody. It's finished. We haven't cut your head off. We haven't injected you. We haven't put a corkscrew through your brain, as Anne Sexton would put it. And these people said they were from Amnesty International. Get that? This was Penis Gabriel and Roger Waters, these psychopaths, calling themselves Amnesty International, who pulled this whole spiel. And they were putting on performances with Jewish lesbians from magical religion about metamorphosing into androgyny, where the Dalai Lama would unite you with the anima of Lenin. Disney World mysticism from Krishna, working with Clint Eastwood. And it's a mongrel thought story. I don't like it that much. I mean, but they're basically they knock things over on me. What haven't they done? You know, they're thinking, what haven't we done yet? What haven't we done yet? Constantly, very aggressive crazies. And they're neuroaggressive. I have seen how they tried to change my personality from within. It really sucks that they would do that to somebody like Mackenzie. If she got herself in such a jam, she's locked up for life for 15 years or something. But she was the victim of what happened. They triggered a neurohypnotic. In an extreme situation, she panicked and it was escape behavior. The way I ran into the streets to get away from Pittsburgh and went down I looked like an old Latino woman. My lips were all chapped and purple. And I was screaming as it pushed its way out. an extreme situation neurochemical. And I go to the judge. And they say, no, ha 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 ha. No, ha 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 ha. And I say, why can't you look at what that thing in your face? And all this they said is because I started it by naming Reagan. I mean, I hate to break it down for you, but the men's names were Ronnie and Casper. Well, that was a scam, like a credit card scam. And it came from his films. There's semiotics in his films. Oh, he must have been manipulated behind the scenes. He didn't know. He had me in D.C. with his attorneys, and he comes out and waves to me. See, that's too much. Believe it or untrue. You can't see the mentality of the gargoyles that work. And they should, at minimum, be unplugged and not allowed to do this sort of thing. They should, if it was a scam, why did they say, let's do it? Let's do the scam. Why didn't they say, we found these things and it's a scam on Jimmy too? Let's try to break it to him gently. Instead, they take someone I was in love with and they cuckold me with her. And this is the idea of Bantu African drama. You know, it doesn't spell out as an easy sell an international solidarity. So here's my idea for how I can join international solidarity. You leave me alone and you get nothing in return. And everybody agrees to that. And I do my books and papers and my paintings, preferably in a better environment. I don't want to stay here all my life and die here in Section 8. Honestly. You do not one more thing to me. You leave me alone. You say, okay, we're going to enforce two virgins' laws of celibacy. From your hints and rumors, what you have in mind is play acting the same old attack prostitution game because you can't get enough of it. You don't believe in two virgins pussy ball. It's a martial honor code. You're just fighting over control of the women. You're human traffickers. You're not Catholics. If you want me to agree not to have sex with somebody, you should say, we are in charge of two virgins martial arts pussy ball, and we want you to never have sex again because it drives us into such a maniacal state. We want to blow up the world with World War III. And sign in your name, Brian Eno. And don't give me this nonsense about you are the walrus and the walrus is Paul. I have nothing to do with Paul McCartney. He summoned a stand-in called James McRowland Creary because he knew when the ARC idea got around, people were going to go shopping for a white suck. So he offered them a sort of graft hickey-do off his Norma that he gave an unparalleled Scottish name and tainted with the shadow of an Irish. Threw him to the Zionists for good measure. Let's see you get out of that one, Houdini.